Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. Just fallen asleep in the chair for half the day. I think the heat finally got to me, even though it's sort of eased off now. But yes, I was up pretty early this morning and then did my YouTube stuff and had some breakfast and promptly fell asleep and woke up after lunch. So that's most of tonight's sleep done. I probably won't be able to get to sleep tonight now. Anyway, it means I'm all behind. I've just come out here to water my mounts. They need doing. So they didn't get done at all yesterday. And it suddenly dawned on me, I also haven't done an orchid video for a while, because yesterday's video wasn't strictly speaking orchids, was it? So I'm going to do a one shelf rack at a time, which we haven't done one of those for quite a long time. Now the normal process when I film those is I'm actually watering them at the time that I film. So the plants are coming off the shelf and coming over to be watered one at a time anyway, and it sort of makes life relatively easy doing the filming. However, I'm doing it a bit differently today because I'm going to leave the plants on the shelf and go to the plants. So it is a bit different. But before I start, I want to put something out on my YouTube channel as an idea that I may wish to pursue. But at the moment I've got more questions than answers. I got an email direct from YouTube on both channels. It obviously goes to everybody. Well, everybody that's in the partner program, that in other words is monetized, otherwise probably didn't get it. And it's something new. The idea has been there a long time. I mean, those of you who watch Danny's channel, you know that she's got a deal with Repot Me, and she does a bit of blurb every now and again on her beginners videos, the ones that are specifically that's the deal she's set up, I presume, is for those types of videos. And she does an advert for Repot Me with the products which she professes to use, even though they're in the States and she's not. Irrespective of that, and she earns money from that. I don't know how much. I wouldn't have a clue what that sort of deal would come up with. But with quite a large, well-known American company, I would imagine she gets paid quite well. And that's an affiliated relationship. Now, YouTube have come up with an affiliate program within YouTube. Now, I've only got an outline as an idea of how this works. As I said, I've got more questions than answers, but basically it's there and I qualify. So I could use it if I choose to, if I can work out how the hell to use it. First of all, you have to join. That doesn't cost anything. It's just ticking a few boxes in the YouTube studio to get set up. That wouldn't take long. And I think I will probably do that anyway, because I need access to the affiliate list to be able to see what sort of things are involved. The basic principle is, like, say I could become affiliated with Amazon, one of the big companies. That would be sort of worth doing because I do buy quite a lot of things from Amazon. So basically what it would mean is that when I buy something from Amazon, I include it in a video to show you that I bought it. I do often do that. Not on everything. I don't show you my shirts and my underpants. You know what I mean? But I mean, there are some things that I do show. And basically, if you're in the affiliate program, you get to put a tag at the point in the video where the product is shown. And then my viewers are able, should they choose to do so, to click on that tag and it will take them straight to the product. It's a direct link that YouTube sets up for me. And if you then purchase that product, I get a percentage of the sale. So it's effectively another revenue stream. It's another form of income. Sounds pretty simplistic, but the problem is I don't buy a lot of stuff. So, I'm not going to be buying a yacht and a Ferrari with it. But nonetheless, when I do get something useful, I've also got to think that there are some products that are sort of orchid related that I buy that you probably can't get anywhere but in the UK. Like some of the chemicals I use. I get a lot of those on Amazon. I also get them in a local store. Well, that store may have products. As I said, if I join, I should be able to get at the list of products and companies that are allowing YouTube to set up these links. And once I see what's there, I can see if it's any use to me. If everything on there is stuff that I never buy, then obviously it's a waste of time. So I may go down this path. Doesn't cost me anything, and it doesn't dramatically affect my YouTube videos. If you think when I first turned on the adverts on my channel, because I spent quite a long time saying I'm not having adverts, I don't like them. When I'm watching other people's videos I find them really annoying, but eventually I gave in and allowed the adverts at the beginning and the end. And then YouTube overrode those settings and started putting ads in the middle, even though I've said don't. So I set that to allow them. So I allow the adverts now and I get the revenue stream from it. As I said, I'm not going out and buying a yacht and a luxury villa in Spain. It's just some extra income. It's not a big deal. Not on the size of my channel. Whoops. It would not be possible to get rich on the size channel I've got. But there is a guy, so I've just been moving the staging so I can get at the shelf. There's a guy that does videos on how to get the best out of YouTube for your channel. Those type of videos. There's loads of those on YouTube. They're quite popular to watch. Whether anybody actually takes any notice of them, I don't know. But I take a little bit of notice when I think it is relevant. And some of the things that people have recommended and those type of videos I've actually implemented. But I don't do it all the time. So anyway, but one guy said that it's now going to become almost impossible to become monetized. And the main reason is it used to be that your channel had to get 4,000 views within a year, 365 days on a rolling basis. Yeah, that's just been doubled apparently, so it's now 8,000. And a lot of small channels are just not going to be capable of doing that, so they'll never become monetized. So he was looking into, well, if you can't get monetized, what else can you do? And he was looking at this affiliate program. But from what I've read, I think you've got to be in the monetized program to be able to join the affiliate program, if you see what I mean. So he may have got the wrong end of the stick there, who knows. But as I said, I'm looking into it. I've got no... If I do go down this road, the only difference you will see is that when I buy things, I will have a little clip within the video showing what I've bought and having a few words about it. It could be as little as 20 seconds. It might only be 5 seconds. It could be next to nothing. And the tag will pop up, which enables people, should they choose to do so, to go and purchase that object. Or they could at least go and have a look at it by using the link and then decide not to buy. So that's the general idea. And as I said, I haven't done it yet. I'm looking into it because there are more questions than answers. I think that was a song, wasn't it? I'm not sure. Anyway, we're coming over here to have a look at this rack. Now, I was going to say this shelf, but there's 2 other plants on this rack, so I'll include those as well. But at the moment I'm going to have to try and shift this staging a bit more and try and move this end over. I don't normally move this end because it's going to get hooked up on the mat. There we go. Right, now what's going on over here then? I'll have to move things out of the way first off to get into this corner. Right then, first one to have a look at is my Laelia anceps, -1 leaf. Right, this plant was failing, it wasn't doing very well at all, but recently we've got 2 new growths now, 2 leads, 2 new growths. The last new growth we had was quite weak, but it did produce a flower spike and we did get 1 single bloom. But you know, this plant was twice the size of this once, and this suffered badly when I moved around here. We've now got new root growth coming out of the base of where those new growths are. So we're starting to get some roots, whereas there were very little last time that was repotted. I mean, as you can see, it's not exactly a pot full of roots, is it? But nonetheless, we have 2 new growths. If they both produce a spike, I will probably take one off, because we need to get... These bulbs should be twice this size. You can see the sort of size they used to be. Half of that bulb's buried in the media. But it's chunky bark, so it doesn't stay wet. And this is a cool grower, Laelia anceps, and grows quite high up and needs really bright light or it won't bloom. So that's that one. And then this is my, oh dear, this is stuff coming down off that oak tree. That was either a branch or a acorn. Don't have to make you jump. It's a lot louder here than it is what the camera picked up. Right, we'll get there in a minute. This is Brassia vericosa, and it's variety Sea Breeze. Now, when this was repotted, there was quite a bit of rot on it. Quite a long time ago, and it would be a long time ago, I actually sent a piece of this to Insa. I think he's still got it, and I think it's still growing. But this plant, this was the last growth, which was a reasonable size. It didn't bloom. I wouldn't have let it if it did, because the plant is still quite weak. But we do have a nice strong growth this time round. And what this plant does have going for it is a hell of a root system. So although it's a small plant now, it's nothing like the size it once was. But as I said, quite a bit of rot set in. It's now doing okay. And then my Vanda, which is never going to do that well because it's too cold for it in the winter. Is that leaf ready to come off now? Yes. That's 2. That's 2 leaves. These will all get watered tomorrow. Yeah, this one is now putting out a decent root system. Since it was put in this environment, you know, a very open basket with chunky bark, you can see it's grown a lot of roots. If these are the root tips sticking through the holes in the basket, obviously they had to get from the plant to the edge of the basket, so there's a fair bit of root in the basket. And then we've got quite a few roots that have started coming out higher up the plant, which tend to float across the top of the media and then head for the, you know, for the air, which is a shame. If they went down in the pot, it would be a lot more useful. It's difficult because at a certain point, if I clip them and tuck the tip down into the media, they might grow downwards. But there's nonetheless a reasonable root system now in the pot. But this doesn't like the winter, it's too cold. It only just about survives. But unfortunately, it shuts down. So what happens in the winter is the top growth almost stops. Let's just put out a new leaf here. This was the last new leaf, reasonable size. This is the latest one. The one before was a reasonable size, and it has another new leaf growing. I doubt if it'll bloom this year. Might next year, who knows. This was chopped. It had a very long stalk and most of the roots were near the bottom, and I took the risk of actually cutting it so that I could get it in this basket, which didn't leave a lot of roots really, but they've sort of recovered. But it doesn't like the cold in the winter. The plant will almost stop growing, and these root tips, cool, that's well attached, these root tips will heal over. They'll go like this. They'll seal up because they just don't grow in the winter at all. So that's that. And then up the back here, I've been explaining on and off, you might not have caught it, I have two Catatantes. They are Oncostellis. So I was just Oncidium type anyway. Part Oncidium and part something else. But I've got two and they won't bloom, and I've had them 4 years now and they still haven't bloomed, so they're borderline getting thrown out. There's two, there's the other one up there. Now you notice the difference. That one's a deeper green and is that colour, and this one is a paler green and is this colour. And the reason is this one is in the brightest light I can provide. That's why it's up here with the Laelia, the Brassia and the Vanda. So this one's getting a lot of light and hardly any water at the moment. It is producing some new growths. I'm not interested in new growths. I want blooms. The trouble is the last lot of growths didn't bloom, so I've got to have new growths to get it in a position where it could bloom. There's another one here. So we shall see what happens. But that's this one, and it's not doing very well. I have to sort of think, is it not doing very well because it's just not getting enough water? Is it getting too much light? Is it both? I just cannot get it to bloom. Right, now what's this? Forgotten. Oh, this is the Bratonia Shelob Marie. The other one is over on the flowering bench because I split it into two. I think I split it into three and gave one to, might have gone to Helen perhaps, I can't remember. But yes, this one I don't think has got any spikes. It's got two nice new growths, but no spikes. They still may bloom because the spikes come quite late. You know, the bulbs are almost formed by the time the spikes come. But two new growths, and it is now producing some roots. Not a huge amount, but it is producing some roots. The splits wasn't even. The other split was a much stronger plant with much better roots. And as I said, that one's in bloom at the moment, and it has two new growths the same as this one, and the second growth is now pushing a spike up. So that's that. Now these two are the same plant. Again, it was a division, and I've got it labelled up as Oncidium Sabine Meyer, but it has a more common name. The thing is with this one, from what I can make out, it's been registered twice with two different names in two different countries, which can happen. I mean, strictly speaking, the RHS register is the world register, but there's also a huge register in the States under the AOS. There's also a massive register in Japan. So it's possible a plant could be registered in all three with different names. The chances are, if something's registered with the RHS, then nobody else bothers. But this one possibly broke the mould. Anyway, the weaker plant here has got a new growth. It's got a very poor root system, like next to none. But nonetheless, there's a new growth which is starting some root growth. So hopefully that will pick up. This one has actually got pretty reasonable roots and has two new growths coming out of the same bulb. That's pretty good going. And This one likes quite bright light, and it doesn't like being wet. It likes to get watered and dry very quickly, and then stay dry for a bit before it gets any more. Doesn't like being wet. So that's that one. And then up the back here we have my very sad and sorry for itself Only Cattleya, and it's the one with a lot of red in the name. It's got some scale, it's got some old pseudobulbs that could do with coming off. It's in a poor way basically. It is, as you can see, it is something like red pearl, red dragonfly, something like that. It does have beautiful deep red blooms, but it just won't grow. This suffered badly when I did that bleach root treatment, scale treatment that I got wrong. I just basically did it wrong, and you know, I damaged quite a few plants, and this one has just never recovered. And then on top of that, it objected to the move round here in the middle of winter, and it's still not really recovered, even though we do have a new growth down here, but that's not exactly a big deal. And then we have a tray with the matting, which is bone dry. That's before I water the mounts. That's the first thing I've got to do. What I do now with the RO unit, the big black, that used to be the Vanda bucket to soak the Vandas in, but that was when I had 3 or 4 of them, and it was worth doing. Just a lot of water to fill that up. But that's what the RO unit fills up, and then I decant that into the smaller containers. And what I do is I produce quite a bit more than the containers, so I end up with some left over. Now that changes its properties. Because it's exposed, there's a large surface area there exposed to the air, and I think it absorbs carbon out of the air from the carbon dioxide in the air. But whatever it is, it changes the pH and sometimes the TDS quite a bit, and it ends up with quite a high pH, quite alkaline. So I can't use that directly on the plants without adjusting it, but I can use it for the matting. So that's what I keep it for now. I've got a jug over there. It's got my old filters in it at the moment. I needed somewhere to stand those up so that they didn't drip everywhere. That water needs thrown away. But yeah, I use that jug and I top up the mats. They're all dry. They all need water. This one is the worst because it's in the brightest part. And look what I've just spotted. I didn't see that when I watered it last time. A nice spike there. And that is Oncidium hybrid number 2. The thing is, I know that might sound like a daft name, but in my notes will be Oncidium hybrid number 2 in brackets. Next to it will be a description of the blooms so that I know what's coming and can differentiate. Right, so what else we got in here then? There's 5 plants in here. This is actually got a name. I haven't had this long. It was in bloom when I got it. It's a Cambria, sort of, and it's Rem Burkhard Holm. If you see REM dot on an orchid name, it's in remembrance of. You also might see MEM dot, and that's in memory of. So that those are just added into the names when they're registered. So that's that one. It's coming on. It was in a bad way. A lot of my Oncidiums got in a bad way, but they seem to be picking up. This has got lovely new growth. Previous growth was reasonable. New growth is good, and it does have some reasonable roots. So that one's sort of doing okay now. This Oncidium hybrid is pegged to the black pot because it's lopsided, and it's going to be a lot more lopsided when that spike grows. But this is okay. It's got roots. It's doing okay. I'm just twisting it back round there so that it leans against the other plants. It'll help stop it tipping over. Now the one in the middle is Oncidium hybrid number 1. And again, this one's got quite a nice strong new growth and doesn't have a spike as yet. It might still get one, who knows, and it's currently growing some roots. So it's doing okay. This one's going to fall. Let me just, if I put that big leaf there, that side of that plant, then it'll either tip them both over or it'll stay upright. There we go. And then on the end here, this is a rare beauty. This is the last remaining one of Derek's plants. All the others got dumped. And I kept this one. It is an Oncidium species, Laev, or Laevi, however you want to say it. It does have a reasonable new growth, and it has grown some roots, so it was worth keeping that one. And then what the hell this is over here, I really don't know, because the tag has faded badly. Can I read any of it at all? Cambria. Ah, I know what that is. It's a Miltonia type, and it has deep purple blooms. But it's in a bit of a sorry state. It's got virtually no roots, but it does have 2 new growths. So hopefully it will get some roots and become stronger. That once was such a good, almost specimen-sized plant that it got a first at the Bournemouth Orchid Society. That was a long time ago, because that must have been when I was a member. That was a long time ago. Right, so that's the top shelf done. I'll just get that back. Need to turn that round. So I don't like sticking out leaves, because anything that moves is just going to pull them over. So we'll put that there. That's that. Right, now down on this shelf, I should be able to pick this one up. This is Zygopetalum Louisendorf. It has a pretty pathetic new growth, but it has produced some new roots. The previous bulb didn't shrivel, but it was small. And there's only one reasonable sized bulb, and that's leafless. So it's a very weak plant. But I'm hoping that now it's got some roots, it should produce a new growth in the not too distant future. It's dormant at the moment. It's not growing, and I doubt if that's the heat, because they don't mind heat. They'll do without it, but they don't mind it. So it's not a strong plant, but it's recovered. It was dying. It's now recovered, and for me that's good enough. And then down here that I'm not going to pick up, don't think that's actually got, oh yes, it has got a tag. This is a Zygopetalum species, Crinitum, and it's got a very good root system, and it produced 3 new growths that have romped ahead and grown very, very large as far as the leaves are concerned, but the bulbs have not developed yet. I don't know how long they're going to take. But we should be looking at a bulb that sort of size. This is getting a bit lopsided as well. It's leaning. It's just the sheer weight of the leaves, really. Might have been an idea to stake those more upright, but it's too late now. They're set, so we'll have to lump it. If the bulbs develop, that'll add some weight into the pot. That should stabilise it a bit better. Right, so that's what's going on over here on that shelf. I'm not going to put the Cymbidium staging back because I need to get at these mats, and it's a lot easier. All 3 mats over here. We've got this one here, which is the Oncidiums. The mat there produces some extra humidity and a slight cooling effect around the base of the plants because they are in a warmer section. There aren't any Odontoglossum types there. Yeah, these are all actual Oncidium types, and they don't mind a bit of warmth, unlike the Odontoglossums and the Miltoniopsis that don't like the warmth that we've been getting. Oh, that's my phone. So it'll be another scammer call. I get about 3 a day. One of them's in Chinese, and if I answer it, it just cuts off. Well, I cut it off and then I block it. But they just keep using different numbers, so that doesn't do much. But it messes them about because they have to keep using different numbers. If I don't, like now, actually get to block it and chop it, it will now leave a voicemail, which is in Chinese. And I have no way of getting my phone number off that list. It's going to be a scam. You know, it's going to be an invite to give my details or do something like that. And to get on these types of scams and these lists, I find that the easiest way, I'm not saying don't do it, but the easiest way is to buy something on eBay that comes direct from China. And eBay give the Chinese company your telephone number as part of the details they pass across. That company is supposed to keep that to themselves. Do they? Do they? Hell, they sell them on. Sell them on to unscrupulous individuals. So if you want to see the way to deal with scammers, you need to dig out a film. Insa, this is one for you. If you haven't seen this, you need to see it. It's a good film. It's Jason Statham and it's called Beekeeper. Very simple title. It's not about beekeeping, although he is a beekeeper in two senses. Good film. Dig it out, see if you can find it. Anyway, sidetracked again. So yeah, that's what's going on. I will water tomorrow and we will have a descaling session as we go round. And we've cooled down weather-wise. When I got up this morning at just before 5, basically it was quite warm upstairs last night, but I think that's probably the last of the heat at night. I mean, they've said like once you get to like Thursday night into Friday morning, they're saying it could go down to 12, 13 degrees. Much better for sleeping and much better for in here as a night temperature. It won't drop as low as that. That's the outside temperature, but it'll drop it down, and that's good stuff. It's been staying far too warm overnight. So I'll just see some dead leaves on the cymbidiums, but they're still attached. They're not coming off. But yeah, so we're supposed to be, when I got up this morning it was raining. It's really weird because I came into sit down at the laptop to do me comments and things like that with me first coffee of the day, and I thought, what's that funny noise? Is that fan playing up? Because I opened the door, you know, bleary-eyed first thing in the morning. It's raining. And it rained most of the morning, on and off, but mostly on. So on top of the rain that I filmed yesterday, which was 5 minutes, there were a few other showers as well. And I'll see if I can do this from in here. But on that leaf there is a comma butterfly. Or should I say 3/4 of a comma butterfly? Because the poor thing's been got by a bird. As you can see. Its lower wing is virtually missing. Talking of birds, we had a kerfuffle on the bird feeder earlier on this morning. I saw a flash out of the corner of my eye. I thought, what the hell's that? It's not one of those flipping pigeons again, is it? Because I usually shoo those off. I don't like wood pigeons. And basically a sparrowhawk had taken one of the small birds off the feeder and was promptly dispatching it on the paving out here. I grabbed the camera, went out in the kitchen to see if I could film it, and literally as I got to the window, before I appeared, so it didn't see me, it was off, carrying its ill-gotten gains with it. Now that's only the second time that I know of since I've been here that a sparrowhawk's actually came in. The last time it came in, it caused a hell of a fuss, landed on top of the bird feeder, and I did manage to film it. So that video's still on the channel somewhere. Wasn't very clear because the windows were filthy. But yeah, that's I didn't get to film anything today, but yeah, sparrowhawk took one of the birds. I didn't see what it got, but it was probably one of the blue tits or the great tits or the sparrows. Hopefully it wasn't one of the, not so common birds like a goldfinch or a robin, or worse still, the greenfinch, because there's only one of those, and that doesn't come every day. Anyway, some chatting stuff, and a look at this particular shelf. This is my Bright Light shelf, or one of them, and the stuff in there does show signs of excess light, but the plants themselves enjoy that excess light, and a little bit of yellowing from excess light on a plant that needs the light is not a bad thing, even though it might not look elegant. I mean, if you look at that Catatanti as a plant and then look at the other one looks far better, doesn't it? It still hasn't got any flowers though. Right, so that'll do for today. Have a think about that affiliate program. I'm interested in it enough to find out as much as I can before I go down that road. But from your point of view as viewers, you won't notice much difference. The work is on me to first of all find the products, the list of products, then find out of those products how many of those am I likely to ever buy. And then obviously if I do, I've got to include a bit about that product in the video and put the tag on it. That's the bit you'll see. If you think about it, when I get some new chemicals, if I get a new fungicide or something or other, I usually show it to you, don't I? So it's not that much different. But as I said, I won't be filming my shirts and my underpants and my new jeans. I won't be doing all that. It'll just be products, household products, garden products and orchid related products, not things like clothes and jewellery and makeup and all stuff like that. I mean, I have to go careful what makeup I show, make sure I use the right colours and everything. I'm sure some of you are thinking, I didn't know he wore makeup. I don't, mucking about. Yeah, this is the Shelob Marie that I was talking about, the other plant, and it does have the second spike coming now as well. So there we go, that'll do for today. What else I'm going to film this week, I'm not sure. It'll happen when it happens, but at the moment it's getting late in the day because of the falling asleep bit. That doesn't happen often. I fall asleep in the evening. Most evenings I would suggest I have a doze, but not in the morning like that. That was I just sort of started, I sort of woke up and I thought, oh blimey, I must have dozed off. I looked at the clock and I thought, oh dear. Just wasted a whole morning basically. Well, I always go along the lines, if you fall asleep, then you need the sleep. You're tired. And if you're tired and you can go to sleep, then take it while it's going, It's been very difficult sleeping with this heat. So a lot of sleep has been lost by a lot of people. So some catching up to do perhaps. I think I've caught up about a year's worth in one morning. Anyway, I will leave it at that, and I will see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.